Okay, comparing, oh, that's literally supposed to say TWO, but I can't write. So comparing two values, not comparing to values. Comparing two values, A to B, or you can write it A over B. You're going to see it as like fractions. All right, and then you have a proportion, which we're dealing with similar figures, like its similarity is the unit. So you're going to have lots of proportions. We're going to be doing lots of cross multiplying. This one is called cross products because that's the one that we typically use. So I put this one first because this is the one that you most likely see. Do you guys remember this? Ever doing this in the past? So yeah, also called the butterfly method. So things that people mess up when they do this, they forget the equal sign. You take the two things on in the same circle and you put them on one side of the equal sign. 12 times x, so just stick them next to each other. 12x. 3 times 10. Ooh, this is a struggle. 30. So 3 times 10 is 30. We're going to end up with a fraction. Don't forget about that. It's fine. But 30 divided by 12. Why am I doing that? Because I'm trying to get x all by itself, which it ends up being 2.5. But I want to get x all by itself, and it is 12 times x, so I must do the opposite of multiplying, which is divide. So you get 2.5. But the steps are pretty simple. Cross, like go from bottom to top, multiply them, put an equal sign in between them. Okay, another thing, common multiplier. All right, this is another way you can look at it. This is not used a ton, but some of you guys, it may like click with you and make sense. So going from 3 to 12, can anyone in their mind think of what do you multiply 3 by to get 12? 4. Yeah, awesome. A lot of you guys can do that in your head. That's great. If you can't, you can always just do 12 divided by that number. So this number divided by that and get 4. But what do you do to get from 3 to 12? You multiply by 4. What do you do to get from 12 to 3? You divide by 4. So we've got to do the same thing to get this x. You got to take this 10 and you've got to divide by 4. All right, because if you multiply this number by 4, you're going to get 10. You multiply 3 times 4, you get 12. So yeah, you're going to get 2.5 again. All right, so that's common multiplier. If that does not make sense to you, if you have a hard time finding 4 or figuring out which is the common multiplier, use this one. All right, this is just a shortcut if you're good at mental math, and if you're like, I struggle with that, then don't use it. It's no big deal. All right, another thing, which you can simplify fractions and use the butterfly method and cross multiply, and that's what I would suggest doing. Okay, so if we simplify this fraction, and if you guys are like, I don't know how to simplify a fraction, then do this. Here's my fraction, 10 over 12. The calculator will do it for you. That simplifies to 5 over 6. And so it just makes your number smaller and makes things easier. So then you have x over 3 equals 5 over 6. And then you can do the whole cross multiply thing, or you can do the common multiplier and realize that 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 5 divided by 2 is what it would be. But I'm going to do the butterfly method on here. So 6x equals 15, and then we divide by 6 on both sides. 15 divided by 6 is 2.5. Yeah. So, I mean, there's lots of ways that you could do this. I believe so. Yeah, because it's all the same, like, starting proportion. And I'm just showing you different ways to solve this. This is probably my least favorite way. So I'm just going to real quick show you. You could turn 10 over 12 into a fraction. Or, like, into a decimal. So 10 divided by 12 is this, like, crazy ugly number. And then multiply that fraction by 3. And you are going to end up getting the same thing. That's another way you can do it. I don't like that way, but if it makes sense to you, you're welcome to do that. Convert this to a fraction, multiply it by that number. That's another way, but I'm not even going to write anything there because it's not my preferred way. All right, let's code on here. Let's do these. You notice it does get a little more challenging with this, but all you're doing is distributing. So let's look at this. Okay, this is on Delta Math, and you are going to see this. So there is a reason that I put this here, You see how it's negative 7 over 3? You've got to pick one to be the negative. It doesn't matter which one you pick. You'll get the same answer no matter what. But one of them has to be negative. If you pick 7 and 3 both as negative, you are going to get it wrong. And you're going to be like, why am I getting this wrong? I don't understand what's happening. And it's because only one of them is negative. 2 negatives make a positive. So I actually am going to rewrite this as this. But you have to pick one of them to be negative. All right, so 3x is going to be on one side of the equation. And it doesn't matter which side it goes on. I just like to put the side with x on the left-hand side. Just it's personal preference. And then negative 7 times 9 is negative 63. So equals negative 63. And then in order, to solve, you take that negative 63 and you divide by 3. Why am I dividing by 3? Because that 3x, we want it by itself. So negative 63 divided by 3 is negative 21, right? Okay, I'm going to do this one with you, and I'm going to have you work on this one by yourself because I want to make sure you know how to distribute and solve. But right here, we're going to cross multiply. So top times bottom. Bottom times top. So look how this is written. I'm going to rewrite this like this. X minus 3 equals 21. So when we're working on this on Delta Math, I'm going to have you guys get marker boards, or you're welcome to use notebook paper, whatever you'd like, so that you can actually write these out, because these are hard to do just in your head. But if you have a marker board, you can, just show your work and then just erase it. Or if you have a piece of notebook paper, you write it out. So it looks like this, and make sure you see how we got this. 8 times this is on one side of the equation. 3 times 7 is on the other. That's where those numbers came from. And then butterfly, I would highly suggest drawing your little rainbows, or whatever you want to call them, little arch things. 8 times 3, because I cannot tell you how many times people write 8x minus 3 here and then get the problem wrong. But it's 8x minus 24, because 8 times negative 3 is 24. All right, and, if you forget to multiply the second one, you're going to get it wrong pretty much 100% of the time. Unless you make another weird mistake to make it right. But that is very unlikely. Okay, and then now it just becomes a 2-step equation. But it's been a little bit since we've solved an equation because we really haven't seen them since before Christmas. So remember, you're going to add 24 on both sides. Why am I adding? Because it's a negative 24. And I am trying to get 8x all by itself. So I like to draw my little line here. Get rid of this, and then I'm going to bring this 8x down. This no longer exists. All right, and then 21 plus 24, use your calculator as your friend. Don't miss that and then get it wrong. This comes out to, does this come out to a decimal as well? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of an ugly decimal. Don't let that freak you out. 45 divided by 8, it's that. And it doesn't, I think the ones on Delta are going to be a lot easier. They'll come out to normal numbers. But yeah, this just comes out to this. I'm going to put it as that because the decimal ends. It doesn't keep going forever, so I'm just not going to round it. If it's specified to round it, to the nearest tenth, it would just be 5.6. Okay, I'm going to pause real quick. And I want you to set up this one. Put your equal sign and then put these on both sides. So you're gonna have to distribute on both sides of the equation. So I'm gonna pause real quick. All right. So this is what we got going on. If you have this interchange, that's fine. If you have 2 times x minus 4 on this side and 5 times x plus 1 on this side, that's fine. But make sure that the 5 and the x plus 1 are together. The 2 and the x minus 4 are together. If that's not the case, then it's wrong. Okay? So they have to go with each other, but they can be on the other sides of the equation. And then I distributed next. So 5x plus 5 should be on one side of your equation. It can be on the other one. That's fine. And then 2x minus 8 needs to be on one side of the equation. So see, if you made a mistake, the goal of this right now is to see where did you make your mistake? Okay, what's not clicking? So what I did first was subtract 2x on both sides. You may have done something different, and if you did, that's fine. okay? Just wait till the end to see if you're getting the same answer. So I subtracted 2x on both sides. Let's make sure I draw that line there. Okay, and then I ended up getting this. So the negative 8 came down. This disappeared. The whole point was to get the x's off. And then 5 minus 2, there's 5 x's. You take 2 of them away, you got 3 left. All right, and then I bring the plus 5 down. And then I've got to get this 5 away because I want x's to be all by themselves. So in order to do that, I've got to subtract 5 on both sides. So once I do that, I get 3x plus 13 because that gets rid of my 5. These disappear. And then I just divide. That's my last step. So divide by 3, and you get like negative 4.3 repeating. Okay, negative 13 divided by 3. And that's it.